We are calling this meeting to order at 4:35 p.m. And first, if you would join me in the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag Okay, roll call. Commissioner Ryan? Here. Commissioner Spann? Here. Commissioner Rogers here. Commissioner Sackfield?
Here.
Commissioner Martinez? Here. And Jacqueline Kelleher. Commissioner Kelleher? I'm here. Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes from the January meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Opening the voting. I don't see Jacqueline, sorry, let me. No, it's okay, you know what, let me make sure you're. Is it letting you in now? Okay.
Yeah, it's not refreshing.
Oh, not refreshing.
I jumped over oral communication. I'm going to have to go back.
Yeah, Did you say oral communication?
Yeah, I jumped over it. We got to go back to it.
Just gonna go ahead, okay. Should be approved 5-0,
I'm in.
or 6-0, are you in? Good, okay, perfect.
Okay, and my apologies. I jumped over oral communications. Do we have any oral communications?
We do. Just going to go ahead and call everybody up. The first one is Donna Cosentino. Oh, you don't want to speak? Oh, I'm so sorry. Never mind. But she doesn't want to speak. I don't want to speak. Okay, I'm going to Damon Blackman.
Good evening, commissioners. I am Damon Blackman. I've been working for the high school district now for the last 33 years, and as an educator, I find it's very important to build community with the projects and the activities that we do in Escondido. So I'm asking for your consideration in giving preference to local artists and vendors in the projects that you all approve. And I think that the reason why I think, especially for a project such as Authentically Escondido, it would make sense that we look at and give preference to artists that are committed and based here locally, as well as they have a firm understanding of what it means to be an Escondidoan, if I said that correctly. It's important that that historical perspective and the commitment that they have to the community comes through in an award such as this. Thank you.
And then we have James Stone.
Hi. Hi. In advance, I want to say thank you and apologize. I know that I often show up here with complaints. And today's no different. So the first thing, I have two things on my agenda. The first thing is I have requested the glare study for the piece of public art that was installed on Quince between Grand and Valley Parkway. And nobody seems to know where it is. So I'm kind of curious because it says in your rule book that a glare study needs to be done, regardless if you pay for it or if it's paid for privately. And I will tell you that I have heard a number of people comment on the glare when they're coming east on Valley Parkway. So I am formally requesting, because I'm pretty sure you guys had to authorize a glare study and approve it, and then it had to go to City Council for approval, and then to the city engineer. So it must be someplace. So I'd like to have that. The next thing is, as you all know, I'm pretty uncomfortable with the vetting process that went on for the roundabout project. And something came across my vision, my radar this week. It occurred to me, I went and looked at all 16 applicants, and I did a deep dive on all of them. Out of 16 applicants, there's only one that has a proven $1 million project, and you know that was me. I didn't get paid $1 million because that project was done 30 years ago, but that project is in Rancho Bernardo. I was paid $350,000. It took 3 years to complete and install. And all of you could make a trip to Rancho Bernardo and look at what a $1 million project looks like. So in the vetting process, however that came about, because I do know I asked my contact in that project if he had heard from the city or the Public Art Commission, and he told me he had not. So I don't know how you guys vetted it, but it's right there in Rancho Bernardo, and you can go see it. It's a really wonderful project, breathtaking. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much for listening. And again, I apologize for being such a forward guy. It's who I am. Thank you.
Then we have Adrian Stewart.
Good evening. My name's Adrian Stewart. I'm president of the Escondido Art Association, but I'm here today to represent a number of galleries in downtown Grand Avenue, both galleries and commercial enterprises. I wanted to share something with you. We had a meeting recently facilitated by Commission Chair Carol Rogers of the gallery leaders, the managers, executives, and owners of the art galleries. It was the first time we've gathered just as a small, intimate group to talk about Second Saturday Art Walk. Our galleries are busy these days on our opening receptions. All of them. Our partners at Escondido Art Partnership just had the Wood Show. Melissa at Art Hatch is busy. We're busy. We just had a record attendance for Abstract and Expressionism, which is a tough title, and it was full. And I can tell you that if you don't have this coming Saturday on your calendar, you should, because it's the program that you've supported. And we did the art take-in for Kids Kaleidoscope on Saturday. We have a record number of entrants. We've far exceeded anything we've done before. So if you want a cookie, come early. On Saturday, 3 to 5 p.m. are the awards. The work is fabulous. I mean, really fabulous. And it will give you a glimpse of what is happening in the young people and students in art in this city. It's very impressive. So anyway, we gathered as a group to say, well, our individual activities are busy, but how can we unite and work in unison to promote the Second Saturday Art Walk? And really the goal is to have people linger a little bit longer, not just come to our gallery and go home, but actually linger and maybe go to the other, our friends down the street at Art Hatch or at Escondido Art Partnership or the photographic exhibition. So we came up with an idea, and we're only sharing that idea with you. We believe that live music would transform Second Saturday Art Walk, strategically placed on Grand Avenue, and it would have people linger and move from one venue to the next. It would draw them forward. They'd hear the music and go down to that location. We would absolutely advocate and almost insist that it's paid musicians, because we don't want artists giving away their talent for free, as we don't. And so we would really advocate the idea of the commission taking a look at and supporting live music on Grand. We are, as a group, and I said I only represent one gallery, but I'm really here speaking for the 4 or 5 that were at the meeting. We want to work together in unison to collaborate more than we have in the past to help support, promote Second Saturday Art Walk.
Adrian, your time is up.
Thank you.
Your time is up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you Saturday.
And then it's Duffy Healy.
Good evening. My name's Duffy Healy. I'm a working artist, and I was here last time, and I'm back, and thanks for having me again. I'm just here to reiterate the importance of having public artwork in places to walk. We've invested so much downtown with those new sidewalks. They're beautiful, they're wide, and I think we should capitalize on taking some of that large budget for the roundabout and allocating it into different sources. I could sit here and talk about research shows this and that, and I probably should. 50% of good public art increases time spent at a location with placemaking interventions. 53% there's an increase in positive perception on the environment. Oh, sure, thank you. But really what's most important is I've owned a gallery on Main Street before, and it's hard work, and you need foot traffic coming in. And if we have some sculptures along Main Street downtown, we're going to get more people stopping, walking, interacting, taking photos. I'm all for the roundabout sculpture, but it's not like you're going to cross the street and take a beautiful selfie and say, hey, I made it to Escondido. And I've driven cross country multiple times, and I've worked with other Main Streets with public art projects, and it's just really a no-brainer. And I'm just here to advocate that. And thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Moving on to, let's see, we approved the minutes, so we're going to move on to item number 2, and it's the Grand Avenue Roundabout project.
Test. There we go. Good evening, commissioners. I'm Sandra Aguilar with Economic Development, and I will be presenting on the Grand Avenue Roundabout Art Project, the process, and the next steps. We're going to go over the purpose of the project and this presentation, the project timeline, the top artist selection, next steps for final artist selection, the next steps for final art piece selection, and recommended action. The purpose of this presentation is to provide a summary of the process and reinforce our commitment to fairness and transparency to the public. The project purpose was to select an experienced artist to co-create with the community a signature roundabout art installation with 4 companion pieces that reflect the theme Authentically Escondido and celebrate the city's identity. The recommended action will be to receive and file. The next item on the agenda will allow for a conversation about local artist preference. First, we'll go over the project timeline, which started on September 18, 2024. Then we'll arrive at present day, where we are currently in the amended RFQ phase. And next would be the following steps after this meeting. First, we are in the Public Art Strategic Plan phase. On September 18, 2024, the City Council adopted the city's first Public Art Strategic Plan. The Public Art Commission is a group of community volunteers appointed to the City Council to administer the public art program and advise Council on projects and policy. Council makes the final decisions. According to the Public Art Strategic Plan, city staff is responsible for initial vetting of artists. Next, we're on the annual work plan. That same day, on September 18, 2024, City Council approved the 2024-2025 Public Art Annual Work Plan, including funding designated for the Grand Avenue Roundabout Art Project. On July 14, 2025, City Council approved the 2025-2026 Public Art Annual Work Plan that included an increase in funds and scope for the Grand Avenue Roundabout Art Project to include one main roundabout art piece and 4 companion pieces. The RFQ process would allow selection of a qualified artist to co-create with the community and then present the final proposals. Next is an initial RFQ phase. On December 3rd, 2024, the Grand Avenue Art Subcommittee convened. They recommended a 2-step process from RFQ, then RFP. They looked at an approved timeline and artist criteria, and the funding level was set that would secure an experienced artist. On January 21st, 2025, the RFQ was released. On February 28, 2025, submissions were due. City staff received 25 qualifying submissions, and 10 artists were selected by the subcommittee for community input. On April 8 and April 17, community meetings were held. The Public Art Commission voted to restart the RFQ process on May 29, 2025, due to potential ethical concerns. Next, we're in the amended RFQ step. So on July 21st, 2025, the request for qualifications was amended and re-released. This included a grading rubric and a sample agreement. On August 22nd, 2025, submissions were due. 17 qualifying submissions were received. City staff reviewed and graded the submissions per the rubric. On November 6, 2025, the subcommittee received all the submissions and the staff ratings. On November 13, 2025, the subcommittee reconvened to select their top 3 artists. On November 17, 2025, the Public Art Commission confirmed that selection of the top 3 artists. This is the grading rubric included in the RFQ packet. As you can see, there are 3 areas that the artist had to prove and could get a total out of 100 points. These are the city staff rating averages from the highest to the lowest score. These 3 artists highlighted in green are the artists that the subcommittee recommended to the full commission. The subcommittee reviewed the staff scoring and all submissions and gave their professional advice on what artists they felt would best fit for the project. The Public Art Commission confirmed this recommendation of the subcommittee on November 17, 2025. The top 3 artists are Michael Stutz, The Germlists, and Ride Art. We will now go over the next steps for the final artist selection. First is a qualifications review. The full Public Art Commission would interview the selected 3 artists. Public input on the concepts the community would like to see reflected in the final design would be gathered. The Public Art Commission would review the interviews, the public input, and recommend one final artist to the City Council. The final artist would be the only artist to go forward to the RFP process. Next is the qualifications approval. City Council considers the final artist and votes to approve or deny the Public Art Commission's recommendation. After City Council approval, the final artist signs agreements with the city. Next is the artist outreach. The final artist would begin their community outreach process overseen by city staff. The artist would present 3 renderings and maquettes for the community to give feedback. We then would enter the final design review. Artists would present the final designs to the Public Art Commission for final recommendation selection. The final design is presented to city staff for risk, safety, and compliance review. Next is the final design approval. The artists would present the final designs to the city council for approval. And last, we would arrive at the installation. The installation would be planned with city staff to ensure safety, and then a dedication ceremony would be held for the community. The recommended action is for the Public Art Commission to receive and file this presentation. I'm here if you have any questions.
I hope this is time for me to make my remark. At the last meeting, I said I was not ready to vote and that I heard everybody's concerns. I then took the time to look at the 17 artists very carefully through maybe a couple of hours, and I saw beautiful art. We thank everybody for the art that they submitted. But at the same time, I realized that the three choices were the best choice. Through the rubrics, through our commission looking at it, through the subcommittee that did endless hours, and Ms. Schoeneck, did an amazing job helping, and I praise everybody for their input. So I now am ready to vote.
Just want to thank you for creating that transparency for this process. It's been a long process, and doing it the second time around, I think it's interesting to see the changes. I also do want to note that in this second round, it's interesting to see that we've gone from 25 submissions that were accepted in the first round to 17 submissions. I'm sure we'll talk about this in the next item, but I think, if we were to question whether this process is fair to proceed with or not, we risk losing artists that have applied for this project that we deem to be, really skillful artists that are qualified and would make beautiful pieces for us. So I just want to point that out. Thank you so much for your work, and thank you to everyone else for the work that you do on your subcommittees as well, because this one has been a fun one, but very interesting to go through all of the applicants that have submitted for this project.
I have a question, just being the newest commissioner. So if we record and file this, what does that do to the next item?
There'll be a presentation to the next item, and you can now have that conversation about local artist preference. This is sort of a informational presentation
Right. So
to
it's
prepare
just-
you for the next one.
So it's just stating for transparency.
Correct.
This is what's taken place so far.
Correct.
This is what's taken place so far. These were the processes that were agreed upon. This is how that work happened. So we would just simply be voting to file this, and then the next conversation could engage in further conversation regarding some of the things that we've heard from public comment, correct?
Correct.
You're not voting on this item.
You're not
though.
voting
You're
on
just-
this.
Yeah,
You're
we're
just
yeah,
approving
we're
it.
just
Receiving and
accepting it.
filing. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And to further what Commissioner Sackfield is saying, would that then mean we receive and file this item, there is then a discussion regarding preference, and this would potentially come back to the commission at a later date for a vote?
So the next item will have 2 items to vote on. One will be if there is a preference for the Public Art Commission to request staff to move forward with creating a local procurement policy. And then the second item to vote on in the next presentation would be whether or not to include that local artist preference policy in a restart of the RFQ process for the roundabout. So your next item will have 2 votes.
I see. Thank you.
Yes, the process, I was on the subcommittee, and so I know the process, of course, was open to everyone, and any artists had the privilege of submitting a review of their work in accordance with guidelines. And all applicants were reviewed painstakingly by the subcommittee. I mean, hours and hours. It wasn't like throwing a dart. It was days and many, many hours reviewing the applicants and narrowing it down to the best. 2 times we got the 3 that came to the top. So I just think we've had a lot of discussion about this, but I appreciate the rest of the discussion. It's like you say, challenging, but at the same time, I think it's pretty clear. And I wish that, I don't wish, it would have been great to see Escondido artists come up to the top, but they didn't. Thank you.
I think it's best if we receive and review and I step away so that the discussion on item number 3 can begin.
Thank you, Commissioner Rogers.
You read my mind.
Want it. Let's move on to item number 3.
I have a presentation for it.
Are you going to do that?
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Sandra Aguilar, Management Analyst with the Economic Development Department, and I will be presenting on local artist preference. The presentation purpose is to explore the possibility of creating a policy that would give preference to local artists. And it's also to obtain direction from the Public Art Commission on how to proceed with the Grand Avenue Roundabout Art Project in relation to the potential development of a local artist policy. I'm going to go over some questions that you would want to consider, and then you will have time to discuss. The discussion questions include: what is the definition of a local artist? Some factors to consider are: would primary residence within the city limits count as a local artist? Would the location of a registered business count? And does local artist mean only Escondido County or Southern California? The second question is: what is the duration period to qualify for local status? Is there a specific minimum period of time to qualify that they must live within the bounds? And is there a qualification expiration date when they move out? The third would be: how should this be applied to calls for artists? Would there be additional points applied to the scoring rubric? Would it establish a tiebreaker provision? Would it create a specific opportunity for local artists? And would they have a chance to rebid to match the lowest bidder on projects? And number 4 is: what will be the verification requirements? Would a government issue identification showing a local address suffice? Would a business license or registration within city limits? Would you like to see utility bills or lease agreements demonstrating residency or business location? The last question is: would the commission like to proceed with the Grand Avenue project as currently proposed, direct staff to develop a local artist policy and restart the project following its adoption, or continue moving forward with the project without delaying it for the development of this policy? So we have 2 actions to vote on. Do you want to give direction to staff to create a local artist preference policy for the City Council consideration? And do you want to stop the Grand Avenue Roundabout Art Project RFQ and restart it once a new local artist policy is written and approved? That's the end of my presentation, and I'm here for any questions.
I have a-
Questions?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I want to clarify that, does this mean that if we adopt a local artist policy, that we restart everything?
It's completely up to the commission.
Okay, so that wasn't stated. I didn't read that. And also residency, we have a very large population in the unincorporated area of Escondido, and that's something that I should think would be considered. I only saw one section where people in the unincorporated area could really apply, and I think that should be a consideration.
Thank you. I do fear that by creating such a policy, like, we'd be restricting ourselves from the opportunities of artists from what they feel is outside these bounds that we create to submit themselves for art within our city. And I think when you think of, if I'm going to give a really big example here, I mean, you think of the city of New York. The city of New York has art featured from artists all around the world. Obviously we have big shoes to fill in order to be a city that can get to that caliber. But I have faith in Escondido with the art I've seen from local artists, from artists that are outside of our city boundaries. That they can bring beautiful art that does represent Escondido. So I do fear that we risk limiting ourselves in future projects. I do think that it does play into some of these projects. It does, and it's something we did consider as part of this subcommittee for Grand Avenue, making sure that the applicants addressed the city, directly, made sure that they made commentary on what they think, authentically Escondido could be. But I do want to remind everyone that the process isn't over. If I'm going to address the second point when it comes to the Grand Avenue project, is that the process isn't over. We're very much looking forward to the community input on the artists that we've selected and we intend to move forward with. Because, like you said in your previous presentation, we hope this art can co-create with the community. And I think, we're really passionate about seeing that with these artists. That's why we're doing these very thorough interviews. That's why, we definitely want to get the public feedback on these artists after we interview them. And I think I do want to mention that during this second round of the Grand Avenue Art Project, that we did have a few local artists as part of this application process come to us with a very specific project in mind. And I think, to me personally, at least I could say that doesn't exactly show the ability to, be collaborative with the city staff or with the subcommittee or with the community if you come in with a fixed idea of what the art piece is going to be when we hadn't even got to that phase. So, that's why I really appreciate the way that this process has been built out, because it does, help us learn about the artist on their own as an individual. But then also, we can bring them into Escondido and teach them about our city and see what they glean from our community by co-creating. I love that word, co-creating with us. I think that artists can come from a multitude of places, backgrounds, experiences, and still create art that feels relevant to a community. And I think that piece about us getting the community input is going to be really important. So anyone here who's interested in that piece, who wants to know more about the process, who wants to know more about these artists, I implore you to stay involved like you are today, because we want this piece to feel like Escondido. and ours. So that's what I got to say. If I got to be any clearer, on the first point, I think that's a discussion to be had. I don't think it's something that we should firmly agree on today, because I think by creating these boundaries, by creating these limits, we could constrict ourselves in terms of the art that we can accept into our city, or by making artists feel like they don't belong when, art is about, helping people feel inclusive and belonging to a community, whether they're, in Escondido for a day, in Escondido for 8 years, in Escondido for a week. I do think that's a discussion to be had. On the second point, I do think we should resume with this process that we're in for the Grand Avenue Art Project, because I made my thoughts clear, and then also, to restart the process, we risk losing some of the artists, the great artists that have applied for this project already. Since we see these numbers, they could go down even further. I do think that this process is well thought out, balanced, fair, and clear, and has been made so to all of the applicants. I do wish, of course, that fellow committee members understood the process a bit more. I wish we had these, presentations a bit earlier, but now we're here today, and now we get to see, all of that, and that's where I stand on these 2 points.
Thank you. I would have to concur with that, and I would just agree without stretching it out. The only other point I'd like to make on that is even the Escondido Expressions utility boxes ask for artists in Escondido and outside of Escondido. So, not to belittle their art. This is a great place for Escondido artists. The art that is created with the utility boxes, it gives you and that's another something else we'll talk about, but it really gives you the timeline of Escondido, gives you when I see a cow, I know that there was a dairy there. When I see a house, I love the expressions, but you have lost in the past for expressions. We have lost artists because of that thing that was going on in Sacramento, that talking about whether you had to have a contractor's license and all that. So I agree with you. We could lose a very good artist if we stop on that. So I would say on the first one, I would hate to box ourselves in. It's got to be we just need to, I know we've got great artists in Escondido and love to see their work in other areas. And so I would not like to box ourselves in there. And I would like to see this continue. It's been a long process, but we just want to get it right. And I think we have. So that's what I have to say. Anyone else?
Yeah, I think, thank you. I think first of all, I'd like to commend the work from city staff and the subcommittee members. I think to take on the magnitude of a project of this size with the impact that it has on the city is a lot of work, and it's very tedious work, and to have done it twice, not fun, but it has to happen. I'm going to address both points, and I enjoyed hearing from the subcommittee members, because I think you saw the process from beginning up until this point, and as Commissioner Kelleher said, we're not done yet. So regarding local artists, I agree with Commissioner Kelleher. We're sort of limiting ourselves to a box. I think one thing that stood out for me from the questions that would be brought up with the local artist preference is also, like, when is the expiration date? Like, when does one stop being a local artist? Are we turning away folks who want to come back and give back to our city once they stop living here? Also, some folks brought up bringing more people to our city, to invest in our city, to come visit. I think we might be turning away folks with some beautiful art that people want to see. I think the first one that comes to mind is the community mural up on yeah, the
John Paul the Great.
John Paul the Great, yes. And a lot of folks came to see that. They were waiting for that from everywhere. So I think if we're keeping in mind the future of the city and the future of tourism here, we have to be open to welcome artists outside of here as well. So that is my comments on the local artist preference. Regarding the sculpture itself, I would not want to go back and start over again. I think that Commissioner Kelleher brought up a very good point that this project isn't over yet. And specifically in regards to artists coming in with very specific visions in mind for the sculpture, it speaks to their ability to work with the city and with our community members. And I think one point that I want to make is that this piece shouldn't solely be based on the artist being local. I think with a piece that will impact the city and be here long past we're all here, we have to take the community in mind and the community that lives here. That piece is as much theirs as it is the Public Art Commission's. So the artist has to be ready to work with the community as well. And I think I want to emphasize the importance of bringing people into those sessions so that they're able to give that input as well. I'll be doing my work on my end to make sure that folks are in there, and I hope you are as well. Thank you.
So I have a slightly different view of the whole the local artist preference. I don't see it as potentially boxing us in. I see it as honoring artists within our community. So I'm not saying, I don't think that it should be the sole decision-making in terms of anything, but I do think that there could be a policy that, for example, gave weightedness to a local artist, especially in projects where you're really truly wanting to reflect Escondido. So there will be projects that's not necessarily the case, but no matter what, we want local money to stay local. Those artists who are local artists also invest in our community, and so they are spending their dollars here, and that's something that I think could be taken into consideration. Because I was not a part from the beginning of all of this, and I do know just in the short time that I've been here, the dedication of all of the subcommittee members and my fellow commissioners, I truly don't feel qualified to make a decision about moving forward one way or the other, to be perfectly honest, because I haven't been there to hear all of those processes. It appears that there's been an inordinate amount of time spent on that. It does, I will say, it does somewhat bother me just internally. There's just a little voice going off inside of me that really wants to be sure that the process itself really did evoke an opportunity for the local artists to really have a fair shot at it, and I'm going to defer to the people in the subcommittee who I'm sure did their due diligence. But as far as requesting that a local artist preference be a part of ongoing processes, I feel pretty strongly that it should. And maybe that's because I'm an almost lifelong resident of this community and have myself, like all of the fellow commissioners here, invested a lot in my own community through my own volunteer work, through my own, profession. And I think that in all things, from getting a job at the city to anything, people that have invested in this community, there should be some reward for that. There should be some semblance of, we know our community, we are going to invest, and as I said, these are folks that are part of our economy. I mean, you take it down to that base level. When you're giving money to those artists, that money is going to back into our economy. So that's how I feel about that. But I appreciate the work of the staff. I totally appreciate the work of the subcommittee, because I know in my limited time here, the time I've put into the subcommittees that I'm a part of. So
May I say one more thing? I want to give an example of an artist that travels. I'm sure all of you have seen the mural on the public library side. That artist travels by motorhome throughout the whole country doing art. And wouldn't that be a shame if we didn't give that artist an opportunity to be here? We've had other artists with the Escondido expressions who say, I'd love to do this, but I have another one and I'm traveling to another city. So that's something to think about. I would like to see the rubric cube giving a certain amount of points to local artists. That's something that I think would be very fair, and I think that should happen. Thank you.
We have incredible artists in Escondido. But we are a town that is claiming ourselves to be, and we are, an art destination. And wherever that art comes from, it needs to be the best art. And I think that should be the weight of the project. And it's up to the artists who come from Escondido to fulfill that weightiness to rise to the top. And I think they can, and I think they have in many instances, but I don't want to see that be the box that we're putting it in. Thank you.
I have one other question. I'm just wondering, in this RFQ to RFP process, if something were to stop, I also do have concern, and I don't know if the city attorney has looked at the potential of problems that it could cause to redo that process. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there are lots and lots of very stringent rules about how you operate in an RFP or an RFQ process. So do we know whether that decision would create a potential legal risk for us?
In terms of the next steps, whether or not the process continues, so I had a discussion with our city attorney about it, and it's at the discretion and recommendation of the Public Art Commission.
Anyone else?
I think that reminds me about the amount of hours not just put in by us on the subcommittee for the Grand Avenue Arts Project, but also all the hours put in by city staff for the 2 rounds of this project. So definitely looking forward to vote on moving forward with this. And additionally, what's great, Commissioner Sackfield, is we have so many awesome local opportunities, which really highlights and focuses on local artists. We're going to be talking about the expressions boxes today, the Arts, Culture, and Creativity Month, which I'm so looking forward to. The second Saturday isn't exactly associated with the commission, but I know some of us are a part of it. I have gladly taken part of several second Saturdays, and a few of my dollars have gone to quite a few artists here, and my husband's very much interested in something about him. He loves crow prints. So if you are an artist that depicts crows, find me, because he's got like 5 different prints of crows. He loves them. So anyways, additionally, there's the Creek Trail, which we're about to open up for artists to submit for. I love that we've been able to consider grants, people coming up to the commission and considering grants from the pool of money we've allocated in our strategic plan. So I'm super happy we have a ton of local, opportunities to boost those local artists, and we've certainly taken that. We took it into consideration while, reviewing the applications as part of this process. And like I mentioned before, we're looking for a high grade of art. And I think that, we're looking at a very skilled artists, and what we've whittled it down to, whittling it down to 3 through this second round was very hard. But we did look through each application thoroughly and take into consideration what they mentioned about our beautiful cities. So looking forward to co-creating with the community. And Crow artists, let me know what you got.
Could we get a motion on this? Let's vote on the first part.
It's like
Two-part,
separate,
that's right.
yeah.
Two-part.
So the first one is to vote if you're going to research and draft one of the proposed policies.
What page is it?
So it's basically, I mean, I can make a motion to investigate and have staff move forward with creating a local artist preference policy. No details have to be decided upon that right now. As I said, my motion does not indicate in any way to set a boundary for only Escondido artists, but just to say, let's explore what that might look like.
Does that mean that we won't move forward? Is that what it's
No,
saying?
it does not mean we won't move forward.
Okay.
They're two separate but related items as far as I see.
So
So
could you
my motion is to explore no matter what happens with this next project, that for future projects, that the Public Arts Commission would look at a local artist preference policy that we would consider but it doesn't have to necessarily be connected to this particular Grand Avenue project, correct?
Yeah, you're just voting to say, yes, you want a policy proceed, like specifically for local artists in general.
In general.
So whenever you mention that policy would then be applied.
Exactly.
If that makes sense.
That's what I'm proposing.
Is there a second on that?
Okay. Dies for lack of a second. But thank you for honoring my ability to make that motion. I appreciate it.
How about, do you have a motion
I motion
to?
for the second point, can I?
Yes.
I'd love to motion to continue with the Grand Avenue Roundabout Art Project as explained by Sandra and our city staff members, as we've already discussed, and not to pause or reroute the project.
Second?
I'll second it.
I'll just call for a manual vote since it's a two-part. So, Commissioner Ryan, no, I'll just go ahead and call you if you want to go ahead. Commissioner Ryan,
It's not two-part, right?
so you guys
So
already.
my motion
yours
died.
Totally, yours is dead.
And then I motion to move
Yes, you-
full steam ahead.
Keller
Yay
has-
is
right, and then
for
commissioners, right, and so now you guys are just voting whether or not you're going to do that.
Right.
But yeah, you can't. I'll try to. Let me see if I can
okay.
open it. Will it open for you guys?
no.
Go to home panel,
Why do you keep having to do that?
but
Anyway.
I'm not seeing it.
Oh. Okay. Push refresh.
There we go.
You're good.
Thank you. I think everybody's okay. Okay, we got it. Thank you very much. Everybody ready to vote?
Yeah, I think you guys should be able to submit. Perfect. So that is approved 4-0 with Sackfield abstaining. So now if we're ready to move, we can go and get Chair
Get Carol.
Rogers. Okay.
Thank you very much. Carol, you're on.
All right, thank you. We are moving on to item number 4, Escondido Expressions.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Sandra Aguilar, Management Analyst for Economic Development.
And I'm Nicolina Katanik, Recreation Leader 2 for the Economic Development Department.
And it is our pleasure to give you an update on Phase 4.1. In today's presentation, you will see the program timeline, the call for artist themes. We will go over Phase 4.1 submissions and the recommended action. On July 14, 2025, the Public Art Commission approved the fiscal year 25-26 annual work plan. On January 13, 2026, Escondido Expressions Phase 4.1 Call for Artists was released to the public. On February 17, 2026, the submission deadline was 5 p.m. and 16 submissions were received. On February 23, 2026, Escondido Expressions Subcommittee met to select the top 14 submissions.
The subcommittee chose to go with 5 broad themes and 1 specific theme. The 5 broad themes are as followed: Old Escondido Homes, Groves and Bees, Bubbles and Soap, Sweets, and Colorful. Our specific theme was gold mines to be located at Auto Parkway and West 9th Avenue. The first submission we'll be showing to you tonight is by artist Becca Dwyer with Groves and Bees, suggested to be located at South Escondido Boulevard and West 13th Avenue. Groves and Bees is inspired by the close relationship between agriculture and pollinators in Escondido. This piece acknowledges the importance of the bees to our region's landscape and economy and pollinating citrus trees and avocado groves. Our second submission is also by the same artist, Becca Dwyer, titled Ibis, to be located on North Broadway and El Norte Parkway. This shows the ibis bird, who are slender wading birds with long legs and curved bills, nesting in freshwater marshes. This piece celebrates the ibis, drawing attention to its form and the fragile wetland habitat it depends on, many of which are threatened by development. Our third submission tonight is titled I Scream, You Scream by Lauren Clean, to be located at East Lincoln Avenue and North Fifth Street. The artist chose this piece to show a collision of sweetness and distortion in a world where candy, color, and nostalgia melt into something strange and wonderful. Our fourth submission is by artist Marty Doglio with Esco Yums, celebrating all the yummy treats that Escondido has to offer, and it was suggested to be located at North Date Street and East Valley Parkway. Marty is also the artist for our fifth submission, which is titled Busy Bees, and suggested to be located at Woodward Avenue and North Escondido Boulevard. Our sixth submission today is by Ernesto Borges with All One, the Rainbow Bride, suggested to be located at Country Club Drive in Auto Parkway. Our seventh submission is by Sarah Bond, who turned in 3 different box designs for us. The first one is Palomar Observatory to be located at East Valley Parkway and Bear Valley Parkway. Our eighth submission and Sarah's second design is titled Geometric Rainbow to be located at West 9th Avenue and Tulip Street. Sarah Bond's last design and our ninth submission is titled Donut Dreams to be located at West 9th Avenue and South Escondido Boulevard. She creates a semi-abstract dreamscape of donut imagery. Coming up on our 10th submission is Soapbox by Steven Zamora, which is suggested to be located at West Mission Avenue and Center City Parkway. He was inspired by the soap around his house. Our 11th submission is also by Steven Zamora, titled Land of Sweets, and suggested to be located at Morning View Drive and West El Norte Parkway. Our 12th submission is titled Built to Last by Sean Flannery, and it visually represents the beach house on Juniper Street, Sean has been an Escondido resident for 51 years and has seen the population increase threefold since living here, and many changes occur over time. One thing that has remained constant has been our historic district. Sean would love the chance to represent and highlight a representation of our history. Our 13th box is by Zane, entitled Pollinate Your Community. Zane paints these colorful bees as a way to bring awareness to the disappearing of bees, and it was suggested to be located at Bear Valley Parkway and Idaho Avenue. The last box that we'll be presenting tonight is titled Golden Dreams, also by artist Zane, and the suggested location is Auto Parkway and West 9th Avenue, which was an actual gold mine back in the 1800s. And I now request that the Public Art Commission approve the artist submissions for these 14 locations as recommended by the Escondido Expression Subcommittee. And I'm
So,
also here for questions.
a couple of things. We're seeing Dr. Bronner's
Right.
in two of these. One of them, it might as well be, we should have them pay for it, because that's a sign.
You're absolutely right. We have spoken and dealt with this in our subcommittee, that the advertising has to be removed. That has been dealt with. You'll notice on one of them, there's a portrait that has been approved, I think, through the city attorney, because Edwin Bronner has been dead for many, many, many years. But you're absolutely right, and we have addressed that.
On the Seas Candy also?
Yes, Seas
Yes.
Candy also.
We will have the artist remove the Seas Candy writing.
How do the soap containers make sense then? I mean, this is a great sign for Bronner's, but then you take away the name, and why are they there?
Bronner's original location was right near the railroad track going into San Marcos.
Right.
The closest location is the country club entrance. And so they were an important development to Escondido financially, and also bringing people aware of the city of Escondido. So we felt that this was good to make people aware, just like we have of gold mines in town, sun-kissed fruits and other items that we have addressed, early colonial Victorian houses. And
It's a little different.
well, it may be, but it's still part of our history on business.
Any thoughts, commissioners?
I appreciate that question, because I was thinking, that's a bit straightforward, but I appreciate the fact that the labels, the marketing will be removed, and just, I guess, to, there's going to be subtle implications for many businesses and history throughout Escondido. You could argue that, the boxes near the safari park kind of advertise the safari park. But I just appreciate that feedback on the labels and all that stuff. And I am feeling hungry after all of these, a lot of donuts, a lot of donut submissions, and the placement. I, did a quick look up as far as where some of these are located. I love that number 3, the ice cream, you scream.
Yeah, that's
Very vivid, very colorful, very playful, near an elementary school. Awesome. That makes sense. It will make them hungry for ice cream and donuts and cupcakes and sweets. So yeah, I think a lot of different artists. I think some, what did stand out to me too was the featured, the bird, the ibis. I was surprised we haven't seen one. I as far as I can recall, on another box. So I love that it's just honoring and featuring that bird on its own.
And it's a great place for it, because that area where the Reedy Creek Golf Course is, all of that North Broadway area. I can tell you when we were building Reedy Creek School, I felt kind of bad because they used to hang out there a lot. So I think that's really appropriate, and I'm very grateful for the fact that the commissioners are all kind of looking at where the locations are as well. I do have a lot of respect for the Bronner family. They are incredible philanthropists here in our community and have been for many years, and it absolutely is a part of the history. But I always say what's good for the goose is good for the gander, so it would be very important to me that we're not advertising C's or their soap or, that I think we can get ourselves into a sticky wicket if we do that.
And also, when I connected with Bronner's, I told them no advertisement, and they did ask about having the portrait, and that was discussed with Sandra, and it was okayed, but I was frankly surprised when it showed the name, and that is going to be dealt with.
Okay, so Bronner's provided this artwork?
Yes, this is all Bronner's within their
It
company.
was an artist.
The artist.
The artist.
Nobody else submitted. This is open to the public, so anyone could have submitted for the artist's choice. Anybody could submit any idea that they wanted.
Okay. I'm so not okay with this.
I understand. I understand.
Even their logo.
And what part can I ask you that, tell me the parts that bother you.
We are removing the logo from the top. That piece, as you recall, on most of these really can't even have paint anyways. So the logo is not a part of that. We will be removing that.
Is there another part that bothers you?
The logo, or like the soap containers variegated in the different colors, is the whole thing removed, or just their magic soap? Like,
at the top, yes, that logo will be removed, and the containers, we're staying the same per the subcommittee, just there's no writing on them, it's just
Right.
the colors.
Is there anything else that we should be aware of?
Terry, everything about this one bothers me because I understand that Bronner's was a very important part of Escondido when their business was here. They do a lot of very good work in the community. This is not, however, what this project is about. So what I would like to do, I love the rest of this art. What I would like to do is make a motion to accept all but, and I'm sorry, the way this numbering is going, is this Dr. Bronner's number 7, or is it must be number, I would like to exclude this. I'm making a motion that we exclude this Dr. Bronner's mural. I am willing to approve all the rest with the condition that C's be removed from is that number 12? The name C's be removed from that. The name Bronner's soap be removed from, I believe that's number 10. Am I getting this right? Make sure that I'm getting these numbers correct.
May I ask you a question?
Yes.
Would you be comfortable? There is a motion. Oh, sorry.
There is a motion. Do we have a second for that motion?
I would second that motion.
Okay, we have a second. Now we have discussion.
Would you be comfortable, because I totally understand where you're coming from. I was surprised. Would you be comfortable if we remove the whole row of bottles down at the bottom?
I would want, before I would accept,
Right.
I would have to see a new mock-up.
Okay,
I would have to see a new mock-up.
okay, I understand that.
That the way I see this is we have a choice of stalling all of these boxes or stalling one. So that's why I made the motion the way I did.
So if we request and tell them our concerns, which I totally understand your concern, and I think it's a very good point, if we delay this one and go back to Bronner, tell them that this is too much advertisement, and would they resubmit? Would you be comfortable with that?
Staff, what would that look like if we approved all but that box today? And then we allow Bronner to rework that artwork? It would have to, I don't know, tell me what that would look like.
From a process perspective, you'd want the artwork included in the RFP process instead of going back for one individual artist. So you can approve all of them, have the next round of applications you seek. You can have this location again.
Can I get clarification on the location? Because I'm trying to follow it, and if, I mean, I'm trying to pinpoint where this would be, and where I think it would be is like sort of in an industrial park of sorts, which implies that, you know, it'll be surrounded by mostly businesses, people who work at these businesses. So I think location is something to take into account.
Yes. Would you like me to address that? Mrs. Aguilar, would you like me to address that? The location is where the train track is. You cross over to Nordahl.
I think the audience is asking if they can see the piece.
I mean,
Is that-
if this is number 7, that location says East Valley and Bear Valley.
This one, Country Club Drive and
should be-
Auto Parkway,
This should
because I'm following Auto Parkway.
Right.
I know
Is it
exactly
Nordahl
the location
and-
you're speaking of, which
Yeah.
used to have their big sign that had all their
Right.
the words that are on it
Right.
from eons ago. That's
Right.
where you're talking about.
Right.
But
And-
why does the bottom say? Oh, so this one is this. Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so this was right near their original location. And I believe there's like auto parts and more, there's smaller industrial businesses there. This is prior to going over the railroad tracks on your way to Costco. And it's on
Yes.
Country Club and Auto Parkway.
It's, there might be the little sliver. I see it.
You see it?
I see it now.
Okay.
The little sliver, and I take that road almost every day from work. So that's where I thought about. I was like, ooh, now I see. So yeah, I think something to take into account, which I'll be taking into account for this, is the location. It's pretty industrial. It's pretty, you pass by it pretty fast. So, in my opinion, I think with the removal of the labels, the clear, advertising as it appears, and it being in a more industrial location is just something to take into account that I'll be taking into account.
These are little tiny murals, not little tiny. These are small murals that the Public Art Commission is using public funds to put throughout our city. We cannot approve something that looks like a sign right now with the promise of we're going to change it. So there is a motion. If there isn't a substitute motion, I would like to call for a vote.
Could I speak?
Yep.
Thank you. I would like to approve the whole, I would approve the whole as it is. I know there's a motion. Except for the bottles there. I mean, you can see what the background would be. There'd be a tree trunk, blue sky, palm tree base, and it's pretty cool. I don't, and if they have artists in town, I know how hard it is to get artists to work up things, and this is an excellent example of Escondido and what made Escondido great. So I'd like to see, I would approve this if they were all together approved.
So, Jennifer, when you said if this one is removed to see what they would produce without that, that then they couldn't be a part of this process. Is that what you're saying?
To
We
ensure,
we couldn't take it to the next meeting and just say, hey, we wanted to see this and see this one with the removal of the advertising.
for fairness in the community, I would recommend just waiting for the next round of submissions so that you can judge it against all the options, just so that we're not picking and choosing favorites for the artists. We're just looking at them as is.
I guess I don't understand that, because it's not, we're saying that we like this. Like, I'm in agreement. I think with, if I hadn't noticed, I mean, right away when I looked at it, I was like, whoa, we're advertising for Dr. Bronner's. But I also see the historical value of the Bronners. I also see the commitment that they make. So I don't know why that would be seen as unfair when we're just saying, hey, we need to make, because we're asking for the same thing with the removal of Cs. So how is that different? Help me to understand how that's different.
From what we're hearing so far is there's a request for them to come back with a new art piece.
No, we're asking for them to come back with it, not
You guys just made,
advertised.
you
And
guys
not
made a
advertised.
motion to not have the first Dr. Bronner's number 7 at all. So that motion means you guys are not having that one, and that you're going to remove the other two wordings, I guess, so to speak, right? So if you guys vote on that and it goes through, you don't do number 7 at all for this one.
So if we,
But you could also, if it doesn't go forward, you can make another motion and then have this discussion.
right,
You know what I mean? But the motion that you guys just made and you just seconded was to not go forward with number 7 and to revise number 10 and number 11 to remove Cs and Bronner's. Number 7 with the bottles that you're talking about, if you guys vote on this motion, which you need to vote on it because you guys already seconded it.
Yep.
Right?
Gotcha.
I just wanted to clarify.
yeah, so okay, so, yeah, now I'm,
But not saying if you guys, if this then doesn't go forward and you guys say no, then you make another motion. But yes, the motion that Chair Rogers made is what you guys just said.
okay.
And I have to say one more time, as Jennifer said, out of fairness, how could we approve artwork that we are suggesting is changed significantly before it go on the box? How can you do that? You wouldn't do that with any mural, any full-size mural. Why would you do that with a box? It's not an acceptable way for us to operate. The other option on voting on that motion that was made is someone can make an alternate motion and see if you can get a second. But I am pleading with you not to move forward with accepting artwork that isn't complete, that isn't what we expect to see. That's a horrible precedent.
And I agree with you. What if we have 2 from Dr. Bronner's, one a soap bar? What if we totally take this one out, explain to them that it contained advertising, which I specifically said it could not when I talked to Dr. Bronner's, because I was concerned. What if we take this totally off and change the box with the other Dr. Bronner soap and put it there instead? And we don't ask for another submission.
Change of location, you mean?
Yeah. And we don't ask for another submission from this one. It's thrown out. That's an idea. So in other words, this one here becomes on the box set, Country Club. Country Club. And then we don't even worry about having to go back, see if the artist can modify, that we leave this
I think we
behind.
should vote on the motion that's on the table.
I'm going to open the voting.
May I ask a question? If we vote on that, are we then able to change boxes and totally stop the box for Dr. Bronner's that has so much advertisement?
Well, you wouldn't be having
Yeah.
number 7 at all.
Yeah,
That's what
Right.
we're voting on.
yeah.
Okay.
So
So
this
what we would
motion
just
would be
remove
like,
it.
yeah, right, so then
Okay.
you'd be assuming you
Okay.
have to get another one, I
That's
suppose.
great.
Okay.
What we're saying is there's an opportunity in another call,
Right.
but, right.
I think that's fair.
I appreciate your input.
So we better repeat the motion.
Motion by Chair Rogers to approve all other murals without Dr. Bronner's number 7 and with the condition of removing C's, sorry, can you hear me? With removing C's from number 11 and removing Bronner's from item 10. Is that, okay.
That's clear.
Okay.
Good luck with that.
I'm not seeing the voting panel.
So, and sorry, I just voted. So then that means that that location's still available?
Yes.
Right. But am I able to make a motion after that? To- No, about the soap one being put into that location.
No, because we just,
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a great location. I think, sorry, I'm just rambling now. I think it's, I mean, if they can fix it to our liking, and feature a local, insinuations of a local business, I think it's definitely the right spot. So I think it's great that this spot will go back into play.
and then they can resubmit.
Well,
I'd like to just thank everyone for your comments,
for
and I think
this
on
one.
another note, I'm excited Peterson's is getting a donut box.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they're not,
nay?
but it's not there.
Okay. All right,
It's that one sneaky little button.
yeah. See what this is.
Okay, so the voting is done and it's approved 5-1. Commissioner Ryan, no.
Oh,
You meant
I
to
meant
do
yes.
yay.
Oh, did you mean to hit yes? Okay, okay. Technical difficulties. It's okay. It's okay. Approved 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. There's a little section of that I could see as a mural, but they just, Yeah.
I totally understand. I've taken your comments and understand.
okay.
Yay.
We are moving on to item number 5, Escondido Union High School District. Murals.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Sandra Aguilar, Management Analyst for the Economic Development Department, and I will be presenting on the Escondido Union High School District student murals. We'll go over the background of this partnership, the top submissions, the outreach plan, and recommended action. So for some background, summer 2025 was the 5th year of the partnership with Escondido Union High School District for student-led murals. On February 3rd, 2026, city staff received submissions. We received 20 student submissions. On February 24, 2026, the subcommittee reviewed the submissions and the top 2 were selected. 2 locations were given to the students as possibilities. One was the Park Avenue Community Center, having 2 locations, the interior wall and an exterior wall. It's interior, it's outside, but it's inside of the community center. And then Washington Park Recreation Building, which already has some of the murals. The themes were flora and fauna for the Park Avenue Community Center locations, and children at play was the theme for Washington Park Recreation Building. After reviewing everything, the subcommittee selected this wall as the one they would like to see. So the first submission is untitled yet, to be titled, by Santiago Bernardes. And this is I've just received this morning. I know the subcommittee did not get an opportunity to see the rendering rendered on the correct wall, so this was received. And the second submission is by student Myra Spratt, and this would be hers. So the outreach plan is to have 2 large boards that the community would get to vote on, sort of a dotocracy. This would be the voting ballot by the community center patrons that attend there. Obviously, the seniors have their senior nutrition program there, so the center sees hundreds of seniors every single day. But there are other classes such as Taekwondo and Zumba that also take place at the community center. So the recommended action is to request the Public Art Commission approve the top 2 submissions for the Escondido Union High School District students and the outreach plan as recommended by the Grants Subcommittee. And I'm here if you have any questions.
No questions, but it's very pretty. And I hope spring is near.
I'll second that motion.
I open the voting.
It's not showing up there either.
And it's approved 6-0.
Thank you. And now we are moving on to item number 6, the Public Art Annual Work Plan.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Sandra Aguilar, Management Analyst with the Economic Development Department, and I will be presenting on the projects for the 2026-2027 Public Art Annual Work Plan. We will go over the annual work plan timeline, the 2025-2026 Public Art Annual Work Plan, the selected projects for the following year, and recommended actions. Today, you will review the annual work plan timeline. We will revisit the 2025-2026 annual work plan. And after I present the slides, I'll ask you to consider, I will be presenting the projects that will be suggested by the subcommittee. Apologies, it seems like there was an issue when I downloaded it. I will do my best. So here's the annual work plan timeline. So in January, there was the appointment of the annual work plan subcommittee, which was actually done in July of 2025 this past time, and provided the first round of direction this last meeting in January. In March, the draft is reviewed and changes are suggested. Then in May, the final plan is reviewed and approved. In July, the Public Art Annual Work Plan will be presented to the Council for review and adoption. And then in August, solicitation and project work begins. As a reminder, in the 2025-2026 Public Art Annual Work Plan, you covered all 3 areas of art solicitation, art education, and deaccessioning. The items in green are the 2 projects that will be rolling forward, and the selected projects from the subcommittee include under art solicitation, community requests will be changed to project expansion, and tactical urbanism, they decided they really like the curb extension. For art education, the discussion was around Arts, Culture, and Creativity Month to continue that program, to add Queen Califia's Magical Circle tours for older adults, and to create career impact workshops. For deaccessioning, the 2 art pieces that they will be considering is On Those That Came Before Us and Plants of Paradise from Escondido Expressions. And the Public Art Commission, the recommended action is the Public Art Commission provide direction on projects for the 2026-2027 Public Art Work Plan. And I'm here if you have any questions.
I do have a question. I don't see Escondido expressions on there.
I'll let the subcommittee speak on that.
We have approximately 40 Escondido expression boxes that have already been painted. Is that correct?
At the end of this fiscal year, with the ones that you approved today, you would be at 39.
39. Okay.
And the budget is almost depleted at this
Right.
point.
So the Expressions Project has been incredibly successful. It's done amazing things for Escondido to get art throughout the community. When we started looking at how we wanted to expand art and use our budget for next year, we talked about this tactical urbanism, curb extensions, and this specific project will start with school sites. It's art for traffic calming at school sites. And our committee believed that it was time to dedicate some resources in different ways, and traffic calming at schools just seemed like a wonderful choice.
And also, Commissioner, we also spoke about how excited we were about the thought of other municipal agencies collaborating together and maximizing the use of our resources so that traffic, engineering, all of those people would be working together, and that would actually make our dollars go farther.
Right. Thank you for saying that. There are grant funds available for this project. So what would happen is the Public Art Commission would be helping to move these projects forward. We would not be doing all of the funding.
Okay, so first of all, I'm being caught totally off guard on this. I had no idea that Escondido would be sort of using the funds from expressions towards another area. Years ago, this is prior to Commissioner Sackfield probably being aware of this, I was on the safety-wide committee for this Escondido Public Schools due to a horrific accident. I totally understand safety at schools. We don't have a lot of crossing guards right now at schools. It's a great concern of mine. I do have a proposal then, this is off the top of my head, that we use a box. Let's give a reference. There's a box at Juniper School because we started doing things at school. Matter of fact, one of the boxes here is being used near Felicita School. Our goal was to use the boxes also at schools. It's to bring awareness that perhaps there's a school crossing there. So my suggestion is, for instance, at Juniper School, which is Felicita and 13th, there's a box there with butterflies and a giraffe. Why not use the butterflies as part of that imprinting to make people aware of a crossing there? And use the boxes as a way to highlight at school crossings that, are you ready to put your finger on? Oh, sorry. That we use the boxes at school sites to start to highlight that there is a crossing and incorporate the prints in the boxes into the crossing guards. And that would be a wonderful way to bring awareness not only in the street but on the sidewalks. So that's my proposal, as I said, off of the top of my head.
That's really great input, and there will be a subcommittee created for tactical urbanism, and that committee will work with the different departments within the city to create the color theme, the color scheme. So those opportunities to discuss all of those details will come with the subcommittee and moving forward with that work.
To clarify, Commissioner Ryan, they would not be using the funding from Escondido Expressions. That funding is almost depleted in this fiscal year. It would just be to not increase the funding anymore, to leave it. We were doing the math, and it's you would be done after
I
this.
understand.
Yeah, I'm just wanting to make sure that, we're not removing any funding. It's
Sandra,
almost
how
depleted.
much is left in that fund? I didn't mean to interrupt.
Go
Sorry.
ahead.
It's very little. So you had about 15 or so for this fiscal year, and you have now, after today, would be 19 boxes that you have funded this fiscal year. So it's almost gone.
But you don't know dollar amount?
I don't know the exact amount off
Is
the
it
top
like
of my head.
$5,000, $2,000?
16,000, I think.
And one point of clarification as well, this input is very helpful. Staff will be returning at the next meeting with all of the proposed items, all of the budget for each of the items. So the input you give today will go back to the work plan subcommittee, and then staff will return with the complete budget in each of the items. So today you can request additional information about decisions, or you can request to see something added back in or a new idea.
Yes, I would like to see that. Now, I was on the committee, and I love the ideas of the crosswalks. But I was thinking about it, that I know it's $700, $750 per box.
Right.
I would like to see a few, to continue that program, but in a much smaller, maybe half a dozen for the year. It does give the artists who are Escondido artists a way to highlight their art. And that is one of the things that we were asked to do in the that came across from the audience. So I would like to add to what we've already decided, and just see if we can find money management to get, another $4,500 or $4,500 for that expressions, and maybe incorporate it like you had talked about, but it never in other areas.
Right. Like I said, I'm caught by surprise. There are areas in Escondido that are still areas that need highlights, and this is the easiest way for Escondido to become known as a community that art far reaches into other parts of the neighborhood. It's the cheapest way to do it. You could go back down to $500 for artists. That would still be reasonable, I feel. So I'm sorry to see that it's ending. I totally understand safety. Commissioner Sackfield will understand that my time on a safety committee is worthy of telling you that we are potentially, with a lot of traffic, new buildings being brought in town, we do have real safety issues at our crossing.
So a couple of things. It's not gone forever. We're talking about one budget year.
Okay.
So it's not, we recognize the value of this project,
Right.
and it is not gone forever. And the other thing, when we're looking at our work plan, we are not only looking at the money capacity. We're looking at our capacity as a commission. We're looking at staff support to get projects done. And we have, in the past couple of years, this is our third work plan.
Correct.
This is our third work plan. And we've learned a lot. And one of the things that I think that we've seen is we're trying to do a little bit too much. So we don't we don't do things quite as well or as timely as we would like to do. So when we were preparing this, when we were talking about this work plan, we wanted to be able to do things really well. And art, culture, and creativity is going to be the one that I'm going to use as an example right now. We were certain that we were going to be able to start working on the branding, the marketing, the planning. We wanted to do that 6 or 8 months ahead of time. And here we are. We're going to have a marketing meeting this week, 2 weeks before Art, Culture, and Creativity Month starts. So what we're looking for is to plan well, choose, so that we can really do a phenomenal job.
I'm curious if the scope of tactical urbanism, if that's limited to curb extensions, or is it flexible, fluid? Because I feel like there's different interpretations, and I feel like, and I'm just saying this, I feel like, the Escondido expressions utility boxes are technically tactical urbanism in a way. So it's sort of like, are we confined to curb extensions? Because it seems like, I don't know. I feel like this is an area that can be expanded upon. Are we planning to do does this include crosswalks? Does this include public benches? Does it include, okay.
Yeah, I can give you
Not
more
just
information on that.
curb, yeah.
So the Tactical Urbanism Initiative was brought forward by our traffic engineering department. They actually proposed 3 different ideas and have because they are interested in not only partnering, bringing safety, but also going after grant funding. And the subcommittee discussed, we discussed what would be the first step. This is just year 1. This is step 1 into this initiative versus trying to tackle, 3 different projects or multiple projects. It was, let's start with curb extensions. That is the highest need right now for schools, for safety. This will definitely expand in the next few years, especially as funding is available. But this is just the starting point. We're just dipping our toe into tactical urbanism and partnership with our traffic engineering and our schools.
Do you have an example that you can show? Do you have a slide of what they're visualizing?
It was in the staff report. I did not add this on the presentation.
Does expressions take a lot of staff time and/or, it seems like it's a committee time to find the projects. It's the whole process. It doesn't seem like it's doing something, it's adding on, not taking away. Does that make sense? It's adding something, we're adding the expressions boxes where to tell the story of Escondido, where it's not taking time or it would take some finances from somewhere, but you had mentioned about, Carol, you had mentioned about the time it takes to do, and it seems like it comes from the committee, not, that just seems like it eliminates a committee that could be doing something that would beautify the city.
It would be eliminating a committee temporarily is what I'm hearing, but I still feel if you're getting grant money, applying for grants, I still feel that you can incorporate a traffic box at a school site that will create a theme for the painting. I'm trying to visualize this. Is the crosswalk going to be painted all the way across in bright colors, patterns? Is that what they're trying to do, the highlights? And then what about bike lanes coming in? So I'm trying to visualize this right now, and I can see where a traffic box can create a theme. Right off the top of my head, let's say you paint a traffic box with safety words all over it in a script that students can recognize and see, both in Spanish and English. And then you incorporate those words into a crossing guard that goes across the street. Is that the type of flow that you would find acceptable and to put in for a grant?
I think that right now we're just looking for guidance on the
Okay.
projects. This isn't you're not voting on anything. It's just providing direction to staff. I can bring more examples of what this curb extension would look like, this project, at the next Public Art Commission
Great.
meeting, and give a few more examples. I think that would clarify
Great.
what it is.
I'm curious,
Thank you.
the estimated cost too of, say, four-way or a.
Yes, that would be part of the next one. Today, we're just discussing what projects. Are these looking good? Is there any project that you want to make sure is on there or something that you really don't want to? The subcommittee will be given all the figures of how much funding is left. Staff is working on those figures, and we should have them before they meet again to discuss how much funding will be allocated to each project.
I'm curious about the career impact workshops. Is that something you would also be seeking grant funds for?
Yes. So the career impact workshops, to give you a little more information, this came out of the need to have opportunities for high schoolers and other artists to expand their skills, as well as the need to repair some of our artwork. So this would be classes that could be held to teach, for example, mosaics or glasswork or any type of different artwork that we have here in Escondido. The students would be able to attend at no cost, learn a skill, learn how to do repairs, and expand those skills. So that is what the career impact workshops. It came out of the idea after meeting with the Balboa Art Conservatory, and I'm sure Commissioner Rogers was we were all very excited, as was Commissioner Span and Nicolina, when we heard about this idea. Would you like to expand on that?
Would I like to expand on that?
Either one of you.
Let's see, you may have to, maybe one of you guys is going to have to fill in here. It was really interesting. They were walking us through different projects that went on and talking about, I'm not sure whether they brought up the challenge of maintaining or finding funding for repair of artwork. And they told us that they actually have a very large program now where they have students that come in and learn how to restore antiquities and repair art, and it has become a very big part of their mission there. And when we were talking about this at our subcommittee meeting, we realized that, again, it's really wonderful for the high school kids to paint murals, but we thought that we could teach them so much more and maybe show them another potential career path by doing these kinds of trainings. So we were very excited about the opportunity here.
I just want to note my enthusiasm for that one. I know Jennifer's aware, but through work, I am a part of economic development initiatives, and though art and tourism has been identified as a growing sector in San Diego County, I was sad to see that not many projects related to art were funded this past year. So I would love to see that grow, especially here in Escondido.
So maybe you could help us a little bit as we develop. You should be on that subcommittee, or can you be on that subcommittee? We'll have to figure that out.
I also do want to say that there is nothing to say that when the grant opportunities open up for the for the safety piece, Terry, there very may well be a way for us to incorporate the painting of more boxes through expressions in those areas, because it's the whole area. It's basically drawing attention to the whole area in a way that's going to be pleasing and beautiful and beautify the community, but also really serve that very important purpose that you've talked about, which is We have had multiple accidents even this year. We have had deaths. It is a part of what the city council I went to every single improvement, what is that called, CIP meeting, and the only thing that was stated at every single one of those meetings was safety. So I think that the more that we all can come together and collaborate, unify around those kinds of efforts, and we need to find a way to bring art and culture into every single aspect of what we do in this community if we truly want to be an arts-based community. So that's why I was very excited about that, and also very excited about the career impact workshops. As you know that I'm the chair of the Center for the Arts, and we have an incredible career technical education program for folks to learn about backstage, and we've had interns that have come in for marketing and all those kinds of things. You can make a living in the arts, and it's always downplayed as something fun, or, I know as a music major, oh, that must have been fun. Yeah, well, it was fun. It was fulfilling, but it was also a lot of work. So I'm really excited about those two things in particular.
Thank you. I appreciate your remarks.
Well said, Commissioner Sackfield. And I agree. Could we still look into the expressions boxes and see up to, say, 4 boxes, see if we can get funding for that?
Yeah, we can add that to the discussion for the subcommittee and
Okay.
then come back. This is just direction, and then the
Well, that
vote
was
won't happen until the next Public Art Commission meeting.
Okay. I just hate to see them go away. I think they've been so important.
Great job.
Thank you.
I love the breadth of the different projects. I really love the tours for older adults. I love the idea of tactical urbanism, and thank you for clarifying that it'll be like a few-part process, because I was like, well, there's different ways to go about this. And then, of course, career impact workshops. I am a byproduct of many internship programs, and I've become a mentor myself. So those programs mean a lot, I think, and students are very, very, how should I say, energetic. And yes, yeah, so I think it's super awesome, great work, and thank you.
Moving on to item number 7, community request grants.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Sandra Aguilar, a Management Analyst with the Economic Development Department, and I will be presenting on a community request. We will go over the background of the event for the Southern California Indigenous Culture and Art Festival. We'll go over the request for funding and recommended actions. The purpose of the presentation is to provide background for the event. We'll review the recommended funding from the subcommittee, and after I will present the slides, I will ask the Public Art Commission to consider funding. So background for the event: the first annual Southern Californian Indigenous Culture and Art Festival was held on April 19th, 2025 in Grape Day Park. Last year's funding came from the City of Escondido and the San Pascual Band of Kumeyaay Indians. This year, the organizers approached the Community Grants Subcommittee and sent in this breakdown of budget. And so they are asking for funding in the total, well, they just shared all of their funding. So they're looking to have 13 groups, and each group would have 10 singers, 15 dancers, and they had a budget for food and beverage, and for a total of $48,750. And the subcommittee reconvened on February 24, 26, sorry. I apologize. I had some technical issues with the presentation. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. Isn't that $4,875?
No, they asked for it.
Oh.
They asked for that. That's not what that was the initial ask.
The way if you did the math, you're seeing per group instead of it doing the total numbers. It's just funny.
Correct.
Okay.
This was straight from the packet that they submitted, and it is a little interesting how they organized it. But the total would be the $48,750. So on February 24th, 2026, the subcommittee reconvened and reviewed everything, including this is the poster for the event. And after discussion, the public staff recommendation is for the Public Art Commission to approve the funding request to fund bird singers and dancers in the amount of $2,500 as recommended by the subcommittee. And I'm here if you have any questions.
One of the commissions that the subcommittee made with this grant of $2,500 is we wanted to see the art, culture, and creativity identification on their poster, showing it as a granted event.
I love this event. I went to it last year and it was beautiful. I love the multitude of art forms, you know, the singers, dancers, you know, artisans, pottery. Ugh. So I think it's really awesome. I think it's so awesome that we can do a little part and also, you know, try and bring them into the fold, right, of the Arts, Culture, Creativity Month, since it does fall within the month. It's just another great interpretation of this month. So, yay.
I think it's a great idea.
Can we make a motion? I make a motion to approve that expenditure.
I second.
We got a bunch of seconds.
Oh, boy.
Voting. I got this. I like just raising our hand.
I'm finally getting used to it. I think we've been doing it for 6 months now.
Okay. Approved 6-0.
Thank you. And liaison reports.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Sandra Aguilar, Management Analyst with the Economic Development Department.
And I'm Nicolina Katanik, Recreation Leader 2 with the Economic Development Department.
And we'll be going over the Staff Liaison Report and Queen Khalifa's Magical Circle Report. So we will be going over art solicitation projects, updates on the Art Speaks Escondido Community Foundation projects, April's Arts, Culture, and Creativity Month projects, the community grants updates, a fun update about the Bringing Our Herd Together event, the Balboa Art Conservatory visit, Tea with the Queen, and a quarterly docent gathering. So first, we have an update on the Escondido Expressions Phase 4.0. We have 3 boxes that we received images for. So here's the first one. This is Escondido Wildlife by Roxana Sanchez, located on Midway Drive and Bear Valley Parkway. So it's all done.
So cool.
Nice.
The next one is the Early Escondido Agriculture by Dana Sanchez, located on El Norte and Valley Parkway. The other is Kumeyaay Life by Marty Delago, and then located on Woodford Road and East Valley Parkway. And then the image you see on the right there is Andres, who is painting the Ad Astra box on Center City and El Norte. Just want to show that he has his frame, he's had all his safety gear, and it looks like city staff drove by and gave him those cones as well, just to make sure that it was super safe, especially since that is a very busy intersection. Next, for art solicitation projects, the Escondido Creek Trail Art the staff met with the Escondido Creek Trail Conservatory, the tech. And this is one of the images that Richard Murphy shared. He had a lot of amazing photographs that he's taken over the years that he wanted to share. So I included one. The call for artists will go out soon. Staff was waiting on the decision and votes today about the local artist preference to move that project forward. Really good news on Threshold 5. The agreement is done. The insurance is being reviewed. There's stakes in the ground now at Kit Carson Park. We will hopefully be having a official installation date by the end of the week. I will be happy to send you an email with that update as soon as I have it. But we are as close as we've ever been to getting this one across the finish line. So I wanted to just remind you that we're still working on that.
What part of the park is that?
So this is just a rendering, but it's at Kit Carson Park in front of the Eagle Scout Lake.
Okay.
That's where the actual images will go. This was a rendering in Kit Carson, but it's not the correct location. The Kumeyaay Creation Story by Tim Tuplove is almost complete. He is scheduled to finish sometime this month. Some of the weather has delayed it, but he is very, very close. And actually, there's more. This was taken about a week ago, but we've already seen images of more painting happening. So we will be scheduling. We'll let you know as soon as that's done and send updated images. For Arts, Culture, and Creativity Month, we are seeing our different grant recipients starting to post. I just grabbed one to show you. But we are having our banners going up scheduled next Monday on Grand Avenue. For community grants, the Esco Alley Art, the team met with the neighborhood healthcare team, city staff, the construction staff, the installation, the artists, and we all met on the trail to look at the area to discuss everything to make sure it was going to go forward. We have an unveiling date. We've gone over the timeline as well for installation, so everything should be running smoothly. But we're looking at Saturday, April 18th as the unveiling date. So please save the date in your calendars. Next, we have the Kids Kaleidoscope that you funded. That will be happening this Saturday, as you heard their president speak earlier today. So that will be on Saturday starting at 3 p.m. City staff was given the opportunity to paint an elephant to represent the City of Escondido's Public Art Commission, and Commissioner Ryan came over and helped paint that, as well as artist Suzanne Nicolaisen and a couple other city staff, just to have a representation at the safari park. So this is our elephant, which will be coming back and staff will have. And then I turn it over to Nicolina for Queen Califia updates.
Here we have our visitor data for Queen Califia's Magical Circle in January and February. In January, we were able to open for 11 days and gathered 960. Those numbers aren't correct. Those numbers aren't actually correct. Sorry, this is something wrong with the OneDrive, I think, when it was uploaded. But it was open 11 days, and in February, it was open for 9 days. In January, we had about 100,172 visitors, and in February, it was around 900. In January, it was around like 1,172. Yes. And it was around 900 to 1,000 in February. I just don't remember the right exact dates. And we didn't have any private tours for either months. And we are still looking at 30 active docents, but we have a few who are doing their fingerprinting right now. So we're hoping to add more to the docents on the next meeting. And we had about 210 docent hours throughout both of those months. Two public art commissioners and city staff took a trip to the Balboa Art Conservation Center on February 4th. We took a tour around the conservation labs and learned more about conserving our garden and how it will look like with their help. We are excited to potentially start a partnership with them and look forward to updating you with more information once the time comes around.
Commissioner Rogers was there, but we were not able to catch her for the picture. She took off a little bit early.
They didn't like what I was wearing.
Our Tea with the Queen on Sunday, February 8th, 2026 at our garden was a great success. We had a total of 63 guests RSVP and join us for a morning of art appreciation and brunch, catered by the Grand Tea Room. A portion of all the proceeds went to our preservation fund. And on Friday, February 20th of 2026, our volunteer docents met to discuss mosaic art, and our gathering began with a presentation from city staff on the history of mosaics, leading into how Queen Califia's magical circle artist Nikki de Saint-Phal approached the field of mosaics. Following the presentation, docents were led into Q&A with Le Greco, a former mosaic artist for our garden and a longtime assistant to the late Nikki de Saint-Phal. To thank our volunteers for their commitment, all docents who RSVP'd to the event received heart-shaped letters and chocolate. We are grateful for their continued enthusiasm and engagement and are very much looking forward to other good docent gatherings.
And these are the items for the next meeting agenda. In the prior one, we did have pillars of the community, but we decided to move it to the next one just to make sure that all our meetings are a little more balanced out. We're here if you have any questions.
I actually, thank you, you've done a great job. I actually am not sure if we're in charge of the banners on the street, but we have Royce Williams, who just at 100 years old became a Medal of Honors, and I would like to propose that his name be put up on one of these banners and represented that way.
I actually oversee the Escondido Hero Banner program as well. He does have a banner that's sponsored by the Grand Avenue Dentistry, and then they pay for that to annually go up. So I can actually answer their question now about that.
Thank you.
That's important. I just wanted to say, Nicolina, you've done an incredible job. I know with Sandra's, both of you have been terrific, but the docent meetings, so much more enthusiasm, so much more connectivity, and more just, I hope you are always there. You make everybody smile a little bit bigger. Thank you.
Not that I'm trying to put more on your plate, Nicolina, but it seems like the events that you guys have done at the Queen have been very successful. Are you working on some more? We have some coming in April. Maybe you'll tell us later.
I can tell you now, we have a few lined up, mostly on our Wednesdays because we're only open Tuesdays and Thursdays. I thought it would be nice to bring in some weekday. Also, the schools have their spring break in April too, so it works out that they can potentially visit more. We have a cleaning event with Love Esco. We have Girl Scouts coming on the second Saturday to lead junior docent events, and it's kind of nice to see, to start the program to see what a junior docent program would look like with very little pressure, just because it's already open anyway. And we have
partnership with San Diego. No, sorry.
The public library. Yes. We have a reading, Meanie again, and then
we have Earth Day that will be celebrated. Our Escondido Recycling and Environmental Programs will be hosting that event on the 22nd. And we're also in partnership with the Children's Museum of Discovery, who will be doing a pop-up event as well. We're just waiting on confirmation that they're able to do that.
You guys want to go home, huh? No other questions, comments? Okay, thank you very much. The meeting is adjourned at 6:44.